Hey guys, welcome back to another House of Devlin video. I'm Big L Devlin, and today's video is all about greatness. A lot of you may be very interested in how to achieve greatness, how to be great, because it's something which, to be honest, it's a very good goal to go after. But what is greatness? That's the thing. What is greatness? Can we define it? Well, yes, you can open the dictionary and get the definition and stuff like that. But really, what is greatness? For me, greatness is in the eye of the beholder. It's like beauty. You can be great because of your personal achievements, but other people may not see you as great or anything, but you are still a great man. Or you can literally be great and people will be like, wow, he was a hero and all the rest of it. You could look at British history, for example, and look at Winston Churchill. He was a great man, a great leader. He opposed Hitler and the fascism behind that, the Nazi regime and stuff. He fought him to the bitter end and he won. And he was a great man because he took on obviously many burdens upon his own conscience and his own soul, sending young men to die. I mean, I'm sure that would take its toll on any man. And so he was great. You got Alexander the Great, that's in his name because he conquered the whole known world at the time. So you've got, all this loud greatness. That's what I call loud greatness. Greatness that is obvious. It's there. You've achieved greatness through achieving the unachievable. But you've also got the quiet greatness, and that's something I'll get into later because I think that every man can achieve that. But it still takes as much, if not more, effort in many respects. But the ultimate thing is in your process of trying to achieve greatness, it's not the end point that matters. The end point of when you become great, so to speak, that doesn't matter. Who cares? You won't care at that point that you feel great. You probably won't feel any different. If any of you have been married before or anything like that, often you don't feel any different initially. There's no change. But what is important is the journey, okay? And it's during the journey that you learn. It's during the journey that you trip up, fall over and fail and learn to get yourself back up off the ground through grit and determination and reevaluate and go, well, why did I trip up? What can I do to get across this barrier? What can I do to get to the next hurdle, so to speak? And that's what greatness is about. It's about living life, taking everything life throws at you, because life can be very, very cruel, as we've all learned. If you've lived long enough, life can be very, very cruel, and it's about taking that cruelness and just getting through it in as most intact way as possible, and perhaps just simply living. Perhaps that just makes you great. You never know. Living through a hard life. It depends how hard your life is. If your life is very, very hard, then perhaps living is just simply enough to achieve greatness. But loud greatness, well, we all know what this is. This is just a term I've just given it to myself to delineate between the two aspects. Loud greatness is the kind of greatness that people who with armies or politicians and things like this can achieve, conquering the known world. We're talking ancient time kind of shit, right? Stuff you're not going to achieve these days. Loud greatness like that you can't achieve. That's no longer possible, not unless there's a World War III or something like that, in which case, how terrible a world we're living at that point, if we live through it at all. But what I'm going to do is look at the sort of more quiet greatness that one can achieve, and I'm going to look at it in conjunction with what the Greek philosophers said. Okay, now the Greek philosophers, I'm bastardizing a little bit about what the Greek philosophers said, because the Greek philosophers believed there were three paths to immortality. There were three ways that you could attain immortality. Okay, there was achieving some kind of act of greatness, becoming literally a god in themselves, either having a god make you a god, or that's pretty much it, having a god make you a god. The other way was to achieve immortality in the memory of the living, okay, by some fantastic sporting achievement, for example, by being, the master of the Olympics, for example, or for being a superb general or superb fighter. Achilles, for example, was perhaps the best at this, because he was the greatest warrior that has ever lived, in theory, and everyone knows his name, even though that was 5,000-6,000 years ago, or 4,000 years ago, roughly that sort of time period. He achieved greatness through being a warrior. Okay, so there's that kind of not greatness, sorry, immortality. His name is still repeated to this day, and that's what they're talking about. Immortality. It's not the continuation of your body. Okay, like by becoming a god is the ultimate way. You maintain your body, you maintain your life, you maintain your personality. But if you can't do that, the next best thing to do is to maintain your immortality in the memory of the living. Okay, and that's how you continue to exist. Your name is repeated again and again for generations to come. And the third and final way is family. By having children, that's immortality. The children bear your blood, your genetics, and if they have children, and they have children, you will have a progeny that will last generations upon generations, and you will, in theory, be immortal forevermore through the continuation of the existence of your family. And again, that, in my opinion, is greatness. To have a family, to raise a family, and to raise a good family, more importantly, to have a family that has values and belief systems that make the world better, that when each one and every single one of them leaves this world to pass on to the next round, so to speak, they've left the world a better place. Even if it's just a little bit, whatever they've done, they've achieved their own little marginal amount of greatness. Then overall, all their greatness could really be considered your greatness, because it was your teachings, your wisdoms that's passed from you to your sons and daughters, to your grandchildren, to their children, so on and so forth. You need to be the linchpin in creating a family that will last for generations and will achieve greatness every single generation, or at least partial greatness in every generation. And really that's the quiet greatness that I'm talking about. Now, obviously, as a pagan, I mean, most of the time, most pagans feel the need to achieve greatness to some degree. It goes with the faith, okay? But there are, amongst pagans, people who suffer from what one clan call it the waking death, I think it's called, and it's what I suffer from. It's what Celtic God here on YouTube suffers from, so please go watch his videos also, and you'll see someone else who suffers from it. But waking death is just simply where you die, literally die, and come back to life without human intervention. You die, you stay dead for whatever period of time, normally roughly half an hour. From me and Celtic God were both dead for roughly half an hour, and then you come back, and you come back by yourself. And it's really, really strange, that can happen. Surely that's impossible. But I'm sitting here as an example of it being a reality, and Celtic God is sat over in America making videos showing you it's a reality, and it's in the ancient texts of paganism as well, that men would just suddenly die and then come back to life, moments later, probably again roughly half an hour later, and when they came back with wisdom, knowledge, strength. They no longer feared death because they'd experienced it and had seen possibly the afterworld, as I did. I saw my afterlife. I saw my heaven, if you wish. Celtic God didn't, and obviously I'm not going to say what he saw, because that's his own personal experience. It's whether he wants to share that with you or not. That's his decision. But he saw something else which was as major, if not more major, than going to another realm. And as I say, when you come back, you have no fear of death. You seem to be immune to pain, and you have this incredible urge inbuilt into you. Well, two urges. One, to protect. You want to protect your people. You want to better your people. Your people can be whatever you define it to be. Your people may be humanity as a whole, or it could be pagans, or it could be your family. Okay, but whatever it is, you want to protect them, and you will protect them, and you'll protect them by sacrificing your own life if needs be. You will not hesitate, literally will not hesitate to die if it means that they survive. And that I can attest to. I will never hesitate to protect those that I love, and I will fight, and I will protect them with all the skills, all the martial arts skills, and all the fighting skills that I have. I will defend them and fight to protect them as best as I possibly can. But also, I have this incredible urge, this desire to achieve greatness. And I think the greatness that someone like myself and Celtic God, who has the waking dream, that greatness, part of achieving that greatness is to work out what that greatness is. How do you achieve it? Not just to work out, and this is literal greatness, the kind of loud greatness that I was talking about before. Not conquering worlds as such, although it may be very well that, but a much more profound greatness and the quiet greatness that I said that sort of normal men can achieve. You are expected to achieve a much greater level of greatness. And to understand and to discern what that greatness is, that's up to you to work out, and you better work it out, because you're not leaving the world until you do. There's a reason why berserkers, for example, who were of the waking dream, they were of the same men that me and Celtic God are. They were just a warband, a grouping of individuals like us. There was a reason why they didn't die very often. Why, when they fought in battlefields, they didn't fear death, they didn't fear injury, because they knew they wouldn't die until really they'd achieved their greatness. Now, their greatness may be dying on the battlefield after having taken down 3 dozen men. But whatever the greatness is, it's there, and I'm looking for my greatness now, and I'm helping Celtic God try and achieve his greatness. One particular type of greatness, for example, is, as I say, linked into the protection side. So obviously everyone wants to protect their loved ones, but it goes beyond that when you want, like myself. I want to protect my loved ones to the nth level. I will do everything and anything I can, make any sacrifice, and suffer any pain that I must do. And I say that with absolute conviction, absolute conviction. And as well as protecting them, I want to achieve this greatness. Now, I don't know what my greatness might be. I'm not sure whether my greatness, because I came back. When I died, I went to Folkvangir, which is the heaven ruled over by Freya, and I'm convinced that I only came back to this world because Freya allowed me to. Maybe she aided me to getting back into the mortal realms. And so I look at Freya and I think, well, what does she represent? What values does Freya embody? Okay, well, she's the goddess of love and war. Okay, so I can honour her and try to achieve my greatness through protection of those I love, so and loving those I love even more, giving them as much as I possibly can. And I don't mean material stuff, although that goes amongst it, but giving them the time and the effort, never saying no to them, apart from, with a sport child, for example, but really giving to them, okay? And on top of this, you've got the war aspect. Now, the war aspect, I don't want to go to war with no one, and I don't have no armies, and I don't have it. I'm not in control of a country, but what I can do is I can fight. I've always been able to fight since I was a child, and I was trained to fight from the age of 5 onwards in a variety of different martial arts, and so I've been given an opportunity. It suddenly appeared in front of me. I've not asked for it. It suddenly appeared, the opportunity to fight semi-professionally, at an amateur level maybe to start off with, but semi-professionally and professionally, within the mixed martial arts scene. Okay, so within the essentially just underneath UFC, but potentially I could find myself fighting within the UFC. As a result, that is not an opportunity that I'm going to turn down, because that could be the way that I honour Freya. That I honour Freya through war as well as love. That through both her embodiments, love and war. Because when I'm in the ring, when I'm fighting someone, when I'm feeling pain, and when I'm inflicting pain, but most importantly, when I'm feeling pain and I'm having to use grit, determination, willpower to get myself through the pain that is inside of my body, when my lungs are on fire because the adrenaline is burning my lungs and because I can't get enough oxygen to my body, when my shins are on fire because I've been kicked so many times, when my jaw and my face hurts because I've been punched and elbowed, when my back is killing me because I've been thrown, I will get through all this pain. I will ignore this pain and I will fight through it, because I believe that my greatness and my glory, and that the glory of Freya, can be achieved through me fighting through this. And I can believe that by doing so, I may not achieve my greatness through victory, but the pain within my own body and that simply just squaring up against another opponent and fighting against someone who's an equal, if not superior, will give me the knowledge I need to achieve the greatness. I believe the answer to my greatness lies within the ring. Either it will be there within the ring, I will achieve my greatness by becoming well known, and like I said before with the Greek philosophers, I will achieve greatness for being remembered as a great fighter, or more importantly, I feel that when I'm in myself, when I'm having to use every 100% of my willpower to continue fighting, maybe there'll be one fight where I get the hell battered out of me, but I just keep getting up like Rocky, it's the kind of thing. That at that point I will have an epiphany, if you wish, and that is where I will find and discover my journey. I won't discover my greatness, but I'll discover what my greatness that I need to achieve, what it must be, and from there I can work out the journey that I need to walk upon to get to it, and I will do it. Anyway, that's a quick discussion about greatness, both greatness for normal men, but also greatness for men like myself and Celtic God, those who are essentially druids in many respects amongst the pagan people. And I hope my analysis of my own personal achievement of greatness is there. And the other thing that I'm trying to do is, just like Celtic God, is I'm trying to do it so that there are more pagans in this world when I leave this world. When I finally leave this world, I hope that there are more pagans in this world who believe in the same things that I do. There are more of us on this world than when I first came into it. Even if there's only 1,000 more, there's 1,000 more followers, yeah, who can spread the word, and from there, hopefully from acorns grow mighty oaks, and I hope to make paganism seem to be much more of a mainstream religion rather than a minority or a dead religion as it's seen by many. Thank you guys. I hope you enjoyed the message. If you wish to comment in any way whatsoever, whether it's to help or to give guidance, or whether it's because just to give the thumbs up or thumbs down, I don't mind. Please feel free to comment. I will always read every comment that goes up, and I'll often respond to most of them if I have an appropriate answer to such a comment. Thank you very much for listening, guys. I'll see you soon.